You're listening to international investment advisor Doug Goldstein on the Goldstein on Gelt show, the financial show where we'll talk about how you can make the most of your money. With all the confusing financial chatter bombarding you each and every day, Goldstein on Gelt will give you the practical information you want and need about living a financially stable life. Here's your host, money maven Doug Goldstein.
Okay, we are back. We are talking to Jim Bob Duggar, who is very, very well known in America as being the father of perhaps one of the biggest families there. Jim Bob and his wife Michelle are the proud parents of 19 children, as well as a very, very proud parent, I think, to their first grandchild, Mackenzie, a little girl who's now probably about 1 year old. To date, they've been featured on 5 Discovery, Health, and TLC documentaries entitled 14 Children and Pregnant Again, 16 Children Moving In, Raising 16 Children, On the Road with 16 Children, and Duggar's Big Family Album. They've appeared on many, many national and international TV and news and radio shows, from the United States to Canada, Korea, Japan, New Zealand, and of course now in Israel. They've recently completed their first book called The Duggars, 20 and Counting. And as a family project, they built a 7,000 square foot home that they live in debt-free. Both Jim Bob and Michelle are licensed real estate agents, and they often host and facilitate the Jim Sammons Financial Freedom Seminar. Jim Bob served in the Arkansas House of Representatives from 1999 to 2003 and was a candidate for the U.S. Senate in 2002, and which, needless to say, is amazing. Not only did he focus on a great family, but also on his civil responsibility to the country. So, Jim, I want to say, first, I'm very honored to have you on the show, and welcome.
Well, Doug, thank you for having me this morning, and just appreciate your radio show and just allowing people to hopefully encourage others through it.
Many of our listeners here, also because they're religious, they enjoy having big families as well, not quite as big as yours. However, they find that teaching their children about personal financial responsibility is very difficult. How do you teach that? How do you, dealing with so many kids, do you give them an allowance? Do you have a model for how to teach responsibility in terms of finances to your kids?
Well, we don't believe in giving an allowance. We believe that the children, from the time they're small, we believe in teaching them to work and to enjoy work, and we teach them to serve others, and the most important thing that we can teach our children is to love God and to serve others. And once they get into serving others, they see it really is more blessed to give than to receive, and there's many joys that come from that. And so life should not be about a self-focus, but about a serving focus.
I see. So do they sort of see money as not a tool to buy things for themselves, but rather as a tool for helping others?
Right. Like we just, as a family, the 11 oldest and myself, we went down to El Salvador and Honduras and Guatemala for 2 weeks and spent that time having Christmas parties for children in poor villages, visiting orphanages and the orphans there, going house to house to a lot of just homes where people just have dirt floors and little shacks that they're living in, and we were taking food and beans and rice and in fact last year when the children went, I wasn't able to go because we had a child born, but they went without me, and they went down and rebuilt several houses from a hurricane that came through and caused big rock slides and mudslides on the side of these volcanoes where people were living, and so it's really about, it's one thing telling the children about serving, but it's another thing giving them opportunities to serve and to really fall in love with serving. And even around our own community here, on a regular basis, the kids on their own have taken the kind of a goal of going around every 3 or 4 months to the local fire departments and police departments, and they bake cookies and they pies and different things, and they take them around to these departments and just thank the public servants for serving, and that's really been special. And so, anyway, there's a lot of things that people can do. Maybe even like taking their family to nursing homes and allowing their children to sing and visit with the residents there, and just to tell them that just listening.
Someone cares, right? It's a
yeah.
I think it's a great point what you're saying about how people. It's not even necessarily so much the building, the house, or the painting, or the just being there. My daughter also recently volunteered in a very poor town, and she went in to help paint this old couple's house. And the woman was just so excited that 4 girls came to paint that she said, "No, don't paint. Just tell me about what you're doing." And they sat down, and I think they actually baked cookies for the lady instead of painting, because that was what really meant so much to her. That's a great attitude. One of the common models in I see, at least in Israel and maybe in the religious Jewish community that I deal with a lot as a financial advisor, is that parents feel an obligation to help their children and grandchildren financially. Oftentimes when they're getting married, they say, well, I got to get them started, and I got to, maybe help them put a down payment on their first house. But that sounds like something different from what you would do.
Well, our goal is for the children, we try to give them the resources as far as the mindset of purposing to stay out of debt and to be content with what they have, but yet also allow them to have the education and the ability to be able to make enough money to support their own family, but without all the pressure of debt. And so back about 20 years ago, we went through this Jim Salmon's Financial Freedom Seminar, and at the time, my wife and I were in debt, and we had a lot of pressure and stuff on us. But when I saw the seminar, basically what it did was it brought out a lot of the Old Testament principles of just living debt-free, and the New Testament principle said, "Oh no man anything but love." And anyway, so we went through that and just really felt like that was the direction we need to go for our family. And that has been so freeing. And so we have just tried to apply those principles, and it took a few years to get out of debt, but we've purposed not to go into debt anymore. And we've...
Even your house, I'm sorry, does that include your house is mortgage-free?
Yes. And about 20 years ago, we went through this. And what we ended up doing, we had a house that we owed money on. We ended up selling that, and for several years we went and saved up some cash and put it away in the savings, and we bought a fixer-upper house. And as a matter of fact, it took about a year after we bought it, paid cash for it, to make it livable. But then once we got that house fixed up, we moved in it. We did not have a house payment, and for several years we were able to save up as if we had a house payment. And we started investing in commercial real estate. And anyway, it's amazing how just step by step we started getting rental income from that. Then we started reinvesting in commercial property, and the Lord allowed us to go and have several commercial properties now that help support our large family.
I see. So in the crash of the real estate market in 2008, did that change the amount of food you were able to put on your table?
Actually, for us, it's been a benefit because we are able to buy properties right now at a very low price. And like yesterday, we closed on a property and just paid cash for it, and got it for about half the price we would have before.
Wow. That is amazing. We are talking to Jim Bob Duggar, who is probably most importantly a great father, and a father of 19, and it sounds like a great husband, but also a very, very astute businessman and very astute at how he deals with his own family finances. But I'd like to switch over a little bit to talk about your wife, Michelle, who, from everything that I've seen, is really a super mom. She raises great kids and really keeps everything together. But one of the things that people often find, I think, in today's world is that women are often judged by their career success. On the other hand, what could be more important than being a mother, no matter how many kids you're the mother to? Is that a question that people often challenge you or her with?
My wife and I both have a real estate license, and I really value her opinion on different business decisions that we make, and we talk about the decisions and come to agreement, and like whether to invest in a property or not. And so I feel like that's it's priceless. Mm-hmm. But her number one priority is being here at the house, kind of supervising the children and their day-to-day activities, and being the mother of 19 children, she stays pretty busy.
I bet.
And, yeah. So, and then we've had a weekly TV show called 19 Kids and Counting on TLC and Discovery Channel. That you probably can watch it even on YouTube or
All right.
Netflix or whatever over in the other country. But anyway, it just kind of documents our day-to-day activities in our family, and whatever we're going on usually is what they film, like 2 or 3 days a week.
Wow, that must be quite an activity going on in your house. With so many kids, is it difficult to give them all the individual attention that you'd like to?
From the outside, you would think that, but love multiplies; it doesn't divide. And when parents have like one child, of course they're trying to pour all their energy into that one child, but it's hard to be, when you just have one child, the child's looking at you as their playmate. But like in our family, our children, we love spending time with all of our children, but our children always have somebody to play with. Mm-hmm. and they're always just, climbing trees and swinging on swings and riding bikes, and then we homeschool on top of that, so they work as a team to get their homeschooling and everything done. And then we work hard and play hard, and there's always activities to be involved in, everything from every Friday and Saturday night we go to the community center and we play broom ball at the ice hockey rink. And then we, there's always kids around here to play, 5-on-5 basketball or kickball or whatever. So it's fun all the time. It's like and every night when we go to bed, it's like a blanketing party.
Does each kid have his own bedtime?
Well, what we have is we have about 1,000 square foot bedroom for the boys and about the same for the girls, and so 10 beds in each bedroom. And something that we do we try to every evening, is we have Bible time where we usually go into the boys' room and sit down in there and we talk about the events of the day as a family, and then we read some scripture and a lot of the Old Testament stories about Daniel and the lion's den, or about Moses, leading the children of Israel out of Egypt, and we talk about these stories and about these great men of faith and how the characters that they had in their lives, how important it is for us to have that character in our lives.
Wow.
And the neat thing about the stories in the Bible is that compared to like television will show people doing things wrong and then getting by with it, but the Bible is clear about when people do things wrong, there's consequences.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you do things right, there's benefits. And so we really believe that applying the Bible principles to our lives is the key to success. And in Deuteronomy it talks about teaching our children when they get up in the morning and when they walk by the way, and when they sit down and when they go to bed at night. Mm-hmm. And so
why not when they go to bed at night? There you go.
Right. It's so important to be training our children in God's ways at all these different times. That means all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's one reason we homeschool, and it's really been a benefit for our family to draw us close together, and we serve together and love working together, and it's really a joy.
That is fabulous. We are talking to Jim Bob Duggar, who is a real model of, I think, a successful family man with a very large family. He and his wife, Michelle, have 19 children. We're just about out of time, but maybe you could just tell us a little more about the Financial Freedom Seminar. What is it that people should be looking for, people who really are in debt? Is there a way out for them? Yes.
This Financial Freedom Seminar is excellent. And you can check on our website at DuggarFamily.com. That's DUGGAR, DuggarFamily.com. And it changed our lives about 20 years ago. And it's basically just Bible principles of finances that will that you practically apply. And he not only talks about finances, but he talks about marriage principles that will help your marriage, will help the relationships with your children, and the guy is really funny. He shares all kinds of personal testimonies, and his goal by the time he was 30 was to be completely financially independent. But he had borrowed a whole bunch of money, and by the time he was 30, he was so deep in debt, he didn't think he would ever be able to get out of it. And then he said, though, that God had him right where he wanted him, And as he started reading the Bible principles and applying them to his life, he was able to work out of debt. And now he builds actually shopping centers and just pays cash for them.
Wow.
And so, and we've seen this, we've applied these over the years and seen these miracles happen in our lives. And this is how we've kept our family afloat for 20 years. And actually, we've been married for 27 years, but the last 20 we've been applying this. And so I would encourage each person to go through this. There's 20 sessions, and I think it's like $109 to buy it. We don't make anything off this. It's just something that's helped us so much. We would like to see other people also benefit from this. And it'll be one of the best investments you can make in your family.
That sounds great. Jim Bob Duggar, I really appreciate the time you spent with us today. I want to let you get back to your family, and hope that we'll see you and the whole gang in Israel sometime soon.
Oh, we would love to, and maybe you can come over and visit us, Doug.
Okay, looking forward. Thanks again.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care.
You've been listening to the Goldstein on Gelt Show with money maven Doug Goldstein. Doug's weekly radio show is heard around the world, but if you miss it, you can download the podcast at www.goldsteinongelt.com. The Goldstein on Gelt Show gives you up-to-date financial ideas so you can get on the path to financial freedom. If you'd like your questions answered on the air or off, send Doug an email to doug@profile-financial.com. It's your money for your future, so join Doug every week to build your wealth on the Goldstein on Gelt Show.